The moon never speaks softly, it reveals. But supermoons are different. They don't illuminate the world, they illuminate you. Astronomers call it a perigee full moon, the moon closer to Earth than usual, appearing bigger and brighter in the sky. Coastal cultures throughout history watch these moons because tides visibly surged higher. The edges of life shifted underneath them. Mystics treated them the same way in the psyche. When the moon is closer, so are your shadows. Think of a supermoon as a mirror without mercy. It reduces the distance between who you are and what you see. This is the cold supermoon, a super full moon in Gemini. You are not tuning into a vibe, you are crossing a threshold. I'm going to say that again. You are not tuning into a vibe, you are crossing a threshold. All supermoons share the same core truth. They occur when the moon nears its closest point to Earth, bringing a slightly larger, brighter appearance and noticeably stronger tides. You don't need the science to feel it. Life always stirs louder when proximity tightens. Ancient sailors didn't call them supermoons. They just knew some full moons pulled the water harder than others. Mystics mirrored that logic onto the mind. Supermoons amplify thought, conflict, clarity, and consequence. This one in Gemini turns amplification toward the mind, internal argument, split identity, truth versus performance, story versus embodiment. A supermoon isn't more magic, it's just less distance. Your psyche is closer to the surface, your contradictions echo louder. Tonight is the psychological pressure wave, tomorrow is the impact. December's full moon has long been called the cold moon across much of the northern hemisphere. Named for long winters, hard freezes, and the onset of a deep cold. It was never just about temperature, it was about truth. The harvest is over, the land gives nothing easily, denial becomes dangerous, only clarity keeps you alive. Winter doesn't care about your stories, it cares whether reality can withstand the season. Paired with Gemini, sign of duality, narrative, and the mind split, this cold supermoon spotlights where your story and your life don't match. Winter doesn't punish hypocrisy, it reveals the cost of it. The cold moon strips warmth from illusion so you can feel what is real. Tonight you feel the stripping. Tomorrow, under the peak, you see what remains. The peak is Thursday, December 4th, by the way, which is tomorrow night. Gemini isn't two-faced, it is two-minded, thinker and performer, idea and embodiment, the identity you speak and the identity you act. Listen, this mutable air sign governs communication, internal logic, learning, decision, and contradiction. Its symbol, the twins, connects back to Castor and Pollux in Greek lore. One mortal, one divine, two natures bound by one fate. So this moon doesn't expose your dreams, it exposes your double. What you say you are versus what your life quietly proves you embody. Listen, under a Gemini supermoon, language becomes mirror, thought becomes evidence. The stories you repeat about yourself are tested against how you actually live. Tonight you hear the split, tomorrow it reflects back to you. Full moons are peak points, harvest moments and cycles that began when the sun was last in this sign about 6 months ago. So you're not seeing the future, you're seeing the truth of who you've been. This moon isn't forecasting, it is delivering results. And you can't argue these stats, baby. Full moons illuminate receipts, who you've been, what you've tolerated, where you've abandoned yourself, where identity was wishful instead of embodied. You're seeing the truth of who you've been, not who you hoped you were. That's why people feel called out under full moons. Not cosmic judgment, but return signals from cycles you unintentionally fed. This one is psychological inventory. My little lorelings, across many older traditions, full moons were not treated as wish nights. They were checkpoints. Cultures from Mesopotamia to Greece used lunar cycles to mark time, track harvest implications, observe omens, and hold ritual reflection. Full moons symbolized culmination, the moment when what hid in the dark was easier to see. Deep winter moons especially carried the feeling of threshold. Would your stories, supplies, and strength carry you through the season? Details differ by culture, but the pattern is consistent. Full moons were less about asking and more about seeing. Not the universe granting wishes, but life showing where you stand. Modern spirituality forgot this. Full moons aren't just manifestation stages, they are audit lights. A cold moon asks, is the way you're living actually fit for the reality you're in? That is the essence of this supermoon. This cold supermoon lands in Gemini's domain. The minds split. The voice you broadcast and the voice you bury. The battlefield is internal. Avoidance, projection, rationalization, self-talk loopholes, and identity fracture. This moon doesn't break you. It reveals where you were already cracked. Gemini's influence exposes assumptions. What do you assume others think of you? What do you assume you deserve? What do you assume you can get away with? Those assumptions are loud now. And tonight you're confronted. Tomorrow you're mirrored. And don't forget the assumptions. What you assume becomes reality. Law of assumption. Go watch Wizard Rants. Here's where astrology meets identity law. Manifestation collapses. Okay, so when embodiment and belief contradict, you cannot hold abundance while secretly expecting loss. You cannot receive devotion while assuming abandonment. You cannot claim sovereignty while narrating helplessness. This moon exposes the places your mouth outruns your embodiment. The dangers amplified here. Victim mentality. Outsourcing consequence, performative spirituality, saying it instead of living it, emotional alibying, using words as justification. Listen, the universe isn't punishing you. It is matching you. The universe reflects to you your inner state. We've been covering this. This moon shows where your identity is still just intention. The universe is amplifying clarity, not comfort. Expect self-hearing, your narratives sound louder. Discernment, people feel clearer than usual. Inner accounting, the gap between who you are and who you pretend to be, becomes impossible to ignore. A Gemini supermoon doesn't give direction. It forces awareness. It sharpens cognitive mirrors. It reduces the distance between self-image and self-evidence. That exposed, restless, mentally activated feeling, that is not chaos. It is sight. Now, between tonight and tomorrow, someone or something will mirror your insecurity back to you. That is not misfortune. It is the test. Gemini rules reflection, dialogue, projection, interpretation. So under this moon, the psyche tends to externalize what it won't face internally. You will meet 4 temptations. Projection, making someone else the villain. Reactivity, collapsing into impulse. Withdrawal, disappearing to avoid accountability. Collapse, abandoning identity when discomfort rises. This moon isn't provoking you. It is auditing you. The question isn't why is this happening? The question is, do you abandon who you claim to be when the pressure rises? That is the lunation's authority threshold. Here is how the cold supermoon corners each sign and how you must respond to survive the audit. Aries, your impulse outruns discipline. Embody endurance over heat. Speak once, then act. Taurus, comfort exposes stagnation. Embody movement. Change is loyalty to yourself. Gemini, your duality fractures you. Embody one truth, not 2 narratives. Cancer, caretaking hides avoidance. Embody truth before emotional safety. Leo, validation blocks sovereignty. Embody self-approval. Choose your circle, don't chase it. Virgo, perfection stalls your shine. Embody imperfect action, polish later. Libra, indecision betrays you. Embody choice before consensus. Scorpio, control restricts intimacy. Embody vulnerability as rebirth. Sagittarius, relationships demand truth. Embody candid needs, let cycles close. Capricorn, emotional stability must originate within. Embody peace is your anchor. Aquarius, detachment hides fear. Embody connection, let presence be strength. Pisces, escape has replaced structure. Embody discipline, build first, roam later. Listen, rituals work, not because the moon grants permission, but because belief collapses identity into form. Ritual is embodiment theater. You don't burn paper for magic, you burn paper to signal to yourself that a previous self is finished. Whatever you do tonight or tomorrow, cleanse, write, release, visualize, do it as who you claim to be now. That is the only ritual. That changes reality. What you believe to be true will be true. So if you believe crystals are going to help you, then they will help you. Hold identity above discomfort. You don't heal by analyzing, you heal by staying who you say you are, while your nervous system panics. So tonight and tomorrow, make one choice your old self would not make. So that is the seed of embodiment. Small, decisive, inconvenient action. That is the ritual the moon respects. If you don't resolve contradiction, the universe doesn't punish. It reflects. Patterns repeat, not because life hates you, but because your identity hasn't changed. This moon marks a feedback loop point. You ascend into coherence or you repeat the lesson. You are not here to worship the moon. You are here to survive it and embody what it exposes. What you become under pressure is who the universe answers. And don't forget, this wizard believes in you.